Alright, I'm going to do effects of endurance training in regards to mitochondria or mitochondrion, however you like to say it, and performance, okay? So over here we have mitochondria before training and then mitochondria after training. And you can already see that after training you increase your mitochondria numbers, okay? So, but before we get started, we have, let's say that, or this whole thing evolves around that. Let's say that you have 100 units of ATP, which is our energy, and in order to produce energy, we have to break down our ATP into ADP so it can join the phosphates. We can reach our, I guess, your potential level that you want to be at, okay? So this whole thing relies around, let's say that you have 100 units of ATP. That is going to cause you to form 100 units of ADP, okay? So for every unit of ATP, you're going to have a unit of ADP. And right out here is the cytosol, okay? So this, not in the mitochondria, is the cytosol where the ADP is formed, okay? So bear with me here. So if you have one mitochondria for 100 units of ADP, these ADP are going to want to go into the mitochondria, and they are going to bind with our phosphate. These are our phosphates inside the mitochondria, okay? And when they bind to our phosphates, that is going to give us our VO2, which is whatever level you want to be at. And for this example, our subject wants to reach 2 liters per minute during exercise to maintain that constant exercise output so they don't get tired, okay? So just a little recap. If you have one mitochondria before training and you have 100 units of ADP, that means that you're going to, the more units that go through the single mitochondria are going to take those phosphates up and use them to produce your desired outcome, okay? So that's untrained. Now, if you're training for 4 or 5 weeks, however long you want to, let's just say that our same outcome from these two guys is going to be a VO2 of 2 liters per minute, okay? And let's say that we still have 100 units of ATP, okay? So let me draw a line just separating these, okay? Don't even pay attention to this half right now, all right? So we have 100 units of ATP, right? We're in the cytosol right now, okay? Now, since we have 2 mitochondria, the ADP subunits or units that are going to be created only increases by half. So now you'll get 50 ADP here and 50 ADP here. And that's because you got more mitochondria for them to go through, okay? So our cytosol is only increasing our ADP by half because it doesn't have to produce as much because we have more mitochondria for it to go through, okay? And that is one of the benefits of training. We get more mitochondria, okay? So, just like in the last one, our ADP are going to come through into the mitochondria and want to bind with the phosphate. He's going to do the same thing, all right? They're going to bind, give us our energy, and there we will reach our VO2 of 2 liters per minute so we can maintain our exercise performance, okay? So pretty much what the significance in this is, and I'm going to go ahead and just draw this going off the top right here, okay? So let's say that we have our VO2, and actually I don't even know. All right, so what I'm going to evolve this around is our steady state, okay? Now this graph isn't going to be perfect because I'm just kind of going off the top of my head right now, okay? So let's say that I'm going to mark our steady state right here. All right, this is our steady state. Before training, okay, if we're at rest, this is rest, our point to get to a steady state is going to increase because we're not trained. We have to get all that oxygen in order to perform our exercise, okay? So what training is going to do, follow me. Training is going to allow us to reach that steady state quicker, okay? And we get to the steady state quicker because when we train, we have more mitochondria. We can produce more. We are more sufficient. That's a good word to say right there. We do less but do more with it, okay? So being able to get to a steady state quicker is going to decrease lactic acid and decrease our hydrogen buildup. I think I have that right. So since we have 2 mitochondria and our ADPs are only using a little bit of those phosphates, we have our phosphates still in the mitochondria waiting to be used. That means that we don't have to tap into glycolysis, which leads to lactic acid buildup. We have this immediate energy that we can use. We have more of this, we get back into performance quicker, and we need less rest, okay? So pretty much, you train, more mitochondria, that means that you have a decrease in your, this would be your oxygen deficit, okay? Oxygen deficit is just from the time you start exercise to the time you reach your steady state, is that how much oxygen that you need to get back, okay? So these are the big factors right here. The more mitochondria that we have pretty much ties back into what we've learned in the past lectures, that it'll decrease our lactic acid, it'll decrease our hydrogen buildup, it will increase our threshold for lactic acid, which means that we can exercise longer before we even start producing it, and eventually lead to better performance. So that's it, and that nails it right there. So.